Like a bolt of lightning, a happy shock goes through the house. The kids turn off the video games. Mom rushes to the door. And Fido, faithful Fido, wags his tail so hard that his whole body shakes. Is it Christmas morning? No. It's even better. A soldier, Daddy, has come home. At least, that's how it should have been. When a National Guardsman returned home after a hazardous stint of hurricane relief, surely he anticipated that lovely picturesque moment, his tearful girlfriend, his joyous son, and good old faithful Fido. Instead, however, he noticed that something wasn't quite right in his house. Army medic Luis Ocampo, his girlfriend Kaylee Finch, and their son Lucien lived in North Carolina. Luis served in the North Carolina National Guard, and in September of 2018, Luis answered the call of duty and went into action. A Category 1 storm, Hurricane Florence, smashed into the coast with torrential rains and relentless winds, deluging cities and destroying homes. Luis was deployed to the riverfront city of New Bern, which was hit particularly hard by the storm. Luis's unit of soldiers navigated the storm's aftermath, aiding anyone who needed water, food, or any assistance. Meanwhile, without Luis around, 20-year-old Kaylee and little Lucien headed for a safe place to ride out the storm. Kaylee took her son to Luis's parents' house so that they would keep her company in the lonely days ahead. She had to leave the family dog at home. She checked on him periodically. The family lived like this for a few days, away from hearth and home, and alone. On September 21st, Luis returned home from his short stint in the flooded town of New Bern. After helping the poor people of the flooded small town piece their lives back together, he hoped for at least a few hours to himself. But what awaited him at home was not a hero's welcome. Far from it. With Kaylee and Lucien staying at his parents' house, Luis arrived home only to be greeted by a dog who had been home all by his lonesome. The dog was running around in the front yard. Even more strange was the back door, which had been left wide open. Either the dog grew opposing thumbs and opened the door himself, or someone, an intruder, had been in Luis's family's house. Most terrifying of all, however, was that the window in little Lucien's bedroom was propped open. Someone broke the lock with a nearby shovel and crawled into his family's home. The pressing question was, were they still inside? Only a father could know the thoughts that must have raced through Luis's mind as he quickly entered his house through the wide-open back door and looked around. Thankfully, whoever had broken into the house was gone. But that was just about the only good thing that Luis could take away from what he saw. The scumbags that had broken in had strewn clothes everywhere, and Luis's schoolwork and the laptop that it was on were stolen. The lowlifes also stole a video game system, a firearm, and even helped themselves to the food in the fridge. Unfortunately, they didn't stop there. The scoundrels took a box of coins Luis's grandmother collected from around the world, something incredibly sentimental to the 24-year-old. As the enormity of the damage sunk in, all the soldier and father could do was bury his face in his hands. That was the scene that greeted Kaylee when she returned home. Wanting to do something, anything to help, she turned to Facebook and wrote a status update that she could not know would change their lives forever. This soldier, my soldier, wrote Kaylee, lost everything of importance. We are trying to get the word out and see if anyone has any information about who may have taken it. Please share, and see what we can find out. Kaylee's friend, Mary Elise Capron, saw the post and felt an incredible sense of grief for the couple that she dearly loved. Mary worked closely with Luis over the years, and she knew him to be, quote, an amazing person and soldier. Mary set up a GoFundMe. I am honored to know him and cannot believe something so terrible could happen to someone so dedicated to service, his family, and school. Mary set a fundraising target of $5,000. That, she thought, would be plenty to get a new laptop and firearm and to fix the broken bedroom window. Eventually, the donations flooded in, pun intended, and there was no stopping this flood. In just 11 days, the GoFundMe raised thousands for the family, who eventually asked Mary to shut it down. With all the money coming in, they didn't want to abuse people's generosity. But the people wouldn't have it. They actually asked Mary to reopen the fundraiser after she shut it down at the couple's request. The public wanted to help out the small family. Luis was uncomfortable with taking more money, so he and Mary hatched another plan. Moved by the public's enthusiasm to help a soldier in need, Luis, Kaylee, and Mary forwarded new donations to the Soldiers and Airmen's Fund, which aids local guardsmen facing hardships. Luis and Kaylee even gave some of the donation money, which totaled almost $15,000, to a soldier who had been living in a hotel after a tree fell on his house during Hurricane Florence. Luis and Kaylee found a way to turn life's lemons into lemonade for the poor fellow. A big part of wanting to give the donations comes from seeing how generous people have been, said Luis, and I wanted to pay back to someone else who needed help. We at InfoSoup salute you, Ocampo family. With the exception of one member of the family. I am, of course, speaking of Fido, the family dog. I put the word dog in quotes because a dog's duty is to defend his family at all costs. However, Fido was playing in the front yard as the home he was sworn to defend was pillaged. For shame, Fido. For shame.